Ernie, I'm not a big fan of just three-point shoot contests every night. You know, I'm scared to say anything bad about it. I don't think people think I'm running the game. When you watch the Minnesota Timberwolves play, you're like, let's get the ball to Ant. Let's watch him go one-on-one. Let's get the ball to Julius. Let him go one-on-one.
Rudy Gobert, the whole first quarter, did not touch the ball.
Yeah, and he's wide open in the lane if they would ever throw it to him.
Didn't touch it at all.
And he's got a little guy on him, but they shoot three.
I have the actual clips of Inside the NBA talking about Anthony Edwards' regression. They talked about it actually 2 different times on the pregame show and then the night segment that they have after the games are finished. But I wanted to play that halftime segment first because Anthony Edwards had 9 points at halftime. He was struggling. And this is where they were kind of doubling down on what they said before, which was he's shooting too many three-pointers, and that is what tied into them saying that he regressed, which is why you hear Charles Barkley saying, and Shaq, yo, Rudy Gobert's open, but they're not giving it to him even when he has a little guy on him because they're just shooting three-pointers. So when I heard them say that Anthony Edwards was regressing, I had to think about it. I'm like, damn, that's a very strong statement. And then the more they explained it, the more I started looking at numbers, certain things, and I'm replaying in my head games that I saw when I'm watching Anthony Edwards. I was like, you know what? I can see why they think that. And as you heard in the clip, Charles Barkley jokes about not wanting to ruin the game due to his critique that he's given. And there's a whole other audio where he's really going at JJ Redick for the things that he said, even though I don't think JJ directly said Inside the NBA, but it could be attributed to them because that's a conversation that's been going around social media. But the point is, if there's validity in what they're saying, like you could actually have a point, which we're going to get into, then it's not ruining the game. It's just them keeping it real and giving an opinion that we can discuss. So without further ado, let me play some clips of this discussion that they had, and then we can really dive into this.
Super hard. I mean, because I'm wired to score the ball. But it's not fun, because I don't want to look like I'm not trying or not as good as I am, because I am. But I can't show it because I'm getting double teamed. It's definitely frustrating, you know, to see these guys cooking us and I can't cook them.
100
Total
threes.
field goal attempts.
100 threes. That's crazy,
What you
man.
make of what Anthony Edwards said about being double teamed?
Well, when you're a great player, they're going to double team you. But he has not, in my opinion, he's regressed. He's become Coach Van Gundy said, the coach want him to be more aggressive. Man, he's selling for threes. He's not being a leader, in my opinion, because they follow everything he does. When you're the best player, they're gonna, good or bad, they're gonna follow you.
Very candid remarks from Anthony Edwards. That was after the Boston Celtics game that they lost, 118-115. I got Anthony Edwards' box score right here as he's talking about being frustrated due to the double teams. He shot 5 for 16 in the game, 2 for 9 from the three-point line, 15 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists. And you know, the point of double teaming a player like Anthony Edwards is you would hope that he settles for a bunch of three-pointers, right? Because that's the only thing you would do. If you're getting double teamed so badly, it forces you to try to take tough shots. And if Anthony Edwards is shooting 10 three-pointers a game and he's not making at least 4 of them, he's probably going to have a bad night. And that's what Charles Barkley was getting into in regards to the regression part. And let's look at Anthony Edwards' stats from the year before and right now. So last year, Anthony Edwards is averaging just under 26 points per game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists roughly. He's attempting about 7 three-pointers, just under it. He's making 2 during the season, shooting 46% from the field and just under 36% from the three-point line. Even in this season that you can see compared to what he's doing now, his assists are down, and I think that has to do with Julius Randle ball handling a bit more. But what really stands out is in this season, he's attempting almost 10 three-pointers a game, and he's shooting 44% from the field. So yeah, his three-point made went up, but because he's shooting more, his overall field goal percentage went down. And his overall points per game went down from 25.9 to 24.5. That's about 1.5 points per game. It may not seem like a lot. This game, however, is a perfect example. They lost by 1 possession, really a three-pointer. If you get that extra 1.5, maybe 2 points, it's a whole different ball game. You're still in it a lot closer. Things change. That's all that I'm trying to say here. Now, where I disagree with Charles Barkley, at least as of right now, I think Anthony Edwards is a good leader. There was the clip earlier in the season where he was saying, man, we can't even talk to each other, when he was mentioning the Timberwolves and how we became soft. Nobody wants to call each other out and say what's really going on. That's the definition of good leadership, communication and having tough conversations. So I don't think that's the issue, but let's continue into this dialogue.
I've always had great mentors around me. and they would have told me I don't want to hear it. Pat Riley, I don't want to hear it.
About double.
Phil Jackson, Dale Brown, Uncle Jerome, I don't want to hear it. Great players figure a way out. His job is he holds the ball too long. So when you hold the ball too long, you allow the double to come. That's okay. Get rid of it. Do the Steph Curry thing, follow it, and get it back. And when you're going to take your shots, you got to make your shots up. He's settling for threes. Take 2 threes. I learned this from D. Scott and Glenn Rice. If I miss 2 threes, I'm not shooting another 3 until I go to the hole, get a layup, go to the free throw line, get my rhythm back. He needs to mix up. These guys right now, they don't mix up. They either shoot the 3 or die. And tonight he died.
That would be Shaq giving some good leadership if he was in the locker room with the Minnesota Timberwolves. He's absolutely right. This is where I would say if I'm Anthony Edwards, yeah, you can't complain that you're getting double teamed. You are the superstar of the team. You're expected to find a way to get yours no matter what, and that's what the great players have done, whether a Kobe and an MJ, and I'm going to actually get into those two a little bit due to what Kenny ended up saying in regards to Anthony Edwards saying he's double teamed too much. But yeah, if you're Anthony Edwards, you got to pass the ball out, the double team, and then get it right back. You got to figure out some way to score because your team is dependent on you, and if you're trying to be that great, then there is no excuses on that level. If you're a role player and you're getting double teamed, that's a whole lot different. I will say, though, I think it's worth noting Anthony Edwards has complained this season about the Timberwolves not knowing what they're doing on offense or the offense is not being good enough, period. He's also complained about the defense as well. But this is something that actually stood out to me more due to them trading for Julius Randle and me wondering how that is going to fit chemistry-wise. So if you're the head coach, I do think you also need to look at Anthony Edwards and say, okay, what are the best positions that I could get him into when he's getting double teamed, right? It's a two-way street. It's still more so on Anthony Edwards at the end of the day. Just keep in mind that when a player is complaining about the offense and then saying he's getting double teamed too much, it will start going to the coach eventually. Like, hey, what are you doing to help out your star?
And he said one thing, he's wired to score. I would rethink that if I was him. I'm wired to make plays. And because he's going to have the basketball in his hand enough to
use
score.
my Kawhi Leonard line.
Well, yeah, you know, with the play is drawn for you doesn't mean you have to shoot it.
That's right.
And so I understand his analogy as being wired to score. But because he's becoming a three-point shooter more, he's leading the NBA in threes. Made. So that means he's taking a lot. I would say that he has never taken that many in his career.
He's taken about 3 more a game than he.
3 more games.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot of shots extra that typically he had been in the paint getting. But secondly, it's a simple basketball game. One guy guards you, you go by him. 2 guys are on you, you pass the ball, you're open, you shoot it.
When Kenny the Jet makes this point, I started thinking about LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. I thought of LeBron because everything he said about, and Charles Barkley added in too, if the play is ran for you, it doesn't mean you actually have to try to score. You can make another play. That's what made LeBron James an all-time great, and in some people's opinions, the greatest of all time. Now me, when I'm looking at an MJ and Kobe, the reason why they got maybe more championships, especially MJ, is because he had the mentality of I'm wired to score, meaning I'm going to shoot over the double team. I'm going to make a play when I'm triple teamed. I'm going to find a way, and I'm not necessarily dependent on my teammates. Now, of course, you could look at MJ passing the ball to Steve Kerr or Robert Horry hitting big shots for the Lakers. But there's a reason why you have people like Kendrick Perkins and Stephen A. comparing Anthony Edwards, even if it was very premature, to a Michael Jordan. It was that mentality, I'm wired to score, I'm going to find a way, which goes back to what Shaq was saying, and I think Shaq made the best point. Anthony Edwards, you're the superstar, you got to find a way to score. If that is your mentality, then, you know, just get it done. Kenny and Charles, it sounds like they're saying you got to be more of a playmaker, be more versatile, you don't just have to score only. Again, it's why a lot of people love MJ and Kobe. They weren't really trying to hear that if you watched them play and listen to their mentality. Anyways, hit me up in the comment section and let me know what you think. Is Anthony Edwards regressing, or are you not of the mindset that's true at all? You don't gotta agree with me, or you don't gotta agree at least with what Inside the NBA is saying. I just wanted to have this discussion and see what everyone else may think. All right, salute for listening, and as always, like, share, and subscribe. Peace.